Ready?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. I call the meeting to order at 6:30 PM. Madam Clerk, would you please open the Public Meetings Act?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by forwarding a copy to the Courier News, Star Ledger, and posting on the Township website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, all in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting will not substantially go past 9:30 PM.
Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Kudo.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Here.
Mrs. Ellis.
Here.
Mr. Machado.
Here.
Mr. Moran. Mrs. Pogue.
Here.
Mayor Devane.
I'm here. Would you all please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it's.
Okay, we do not have any special proclamations this evening, so we're going to move right into our conference session. And we have a really interesting presentation by the Connell Company on some rezoning that's proposed. And if you would, I'm not sure who's starting, but if you could just take us through, I think people that go to Grand and Kane or maybe visit the Starbucks, see a lot of activity over there. Maybe just explain what's happened so far and what's going on now, what those timelines are and how that fits into what you're doing in the future. So Shane, Shane, are you leading the presentation? Come on forward.
Yeah.
Come on down. Chris is right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
And is it possible to put the presentation? So I have slides. I can usually talk with slides, which go through everything you just asked. So we'll go through all that.
You're always prepared.
Jay.
It's right here.
You can grab a chair from the dais if you need to, Jay.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, so I thought I'd just give a little history about the park. We've been the owners and developers for 40 years. We bought the first site in 1981. Our company is about to celebrate our 100th anniversary next year, founded in 1926 by my great-grandfather. We've been a rice company, a finance company, and now we're obviously a real estate company developing here in town. And this was the campus in 2015. So I think this is relevant because this is basically in a very important time in New Jersey where there was a lot of sort of movement to the city. Millennials want to be in the city, a lot of consolidation with corporate offices. And so the suburban office park was struggling. And so we started working with the township back in 2015 to rezone the campus. And so this is what we were back then. We were a typical sort of Class A office. We had roughly 9% occupancy, but really sort of struggling to have any rent appreciation and get tenants to come to the park. And for some reason.
And I would just note that if the residents, it might be easier to turn your chair, you're on wheels, to turn your chair around and look at the screen at the back if you don't want to crane your neck to the side, or you may not have a full-on view. It might be easier to look at the screen on the back.
So this is in 2021, we rezoned the park with the township and allowed us to be a mixed-use zone. And that zoning allowed us to have these uses. So 185 acres in total. 1.5 million square feet of office, 10+ acres of open space is what we're developing and is currently on the campus. We have a hotel that was built in 2018, which is the Embassy Suites, which has the Grand and Kane, the Starbucks you were just talking about. We're adding 328 apartments. We have a co-working use that's a sub-use within the office. And then obviously we're about 30 minutes from New York City. And back in 2015, 2018, we started working with Gensler to start thinking about how do we take this large 185 acres, turn it into a single sort of campus and connect everything with trails, outdoor spaces, bike paths, all those type of things. And we looked at both physically what assets we should have on campus and then operationally how should we run the campus. So adding restaurant concepts and apartments and outdoor spaces and gyms were a big part of what we're doing, office space, obviously upgrading all that. But then from operating them, we built a hospitality team to run this like a resort. So we had to have the infrastructure and the team to do that. And we looked at national trends. So what were tech companies doing back in 2018-ish to attract the best talent? So we looked at Google, Apple, Facebook. We also then, this is a problem. Looked at college campuses, what were they doing to attract students? And They were building basically little club beds, it seemed like. They were, really big student centers, really big social programming, obviously all tied around educational, foundation. Then what were resorts doing really well to attract people to go to a destination to actually spend money? And so could we use that resort brand to be part of our office and our destination to get community to want to come to our campus? And then we looked at mixed-use centers around the nation. And what sort of mixes of density, how are they designing them, how are they connecting things, and what are the different uses? So we looked at basically large suburban complexes that are about 30 minutes from downtowns. So outside of Atlanta, outside of Houston, outside of Dallas, outside of Washington, D.C., these are some national comps. And when you look at the park compared to those national comps, from both demographics, we're very strong, obviously with population counts. They're really high within a 7 and 30-mile radius, looking at income levels and household values, but then also looking at the size of our campus compared to them. We're the largest campus, 185 acres, versus most of them are 50 to 80 acres. They have obviously a mix of apartments. We're on the low side of the mix. Nationally, most of these campuses, in order to be relevant and survive, they have to have a larger density of apartments. On the office side, we're high. On the retail side, we're low. So the park. So this is what we are and what we're creating. So currently the campus with the rezoning now is open to the public. So big public uses now are the hotel, obviously, Grand and Cane, Starbucks. We've created a walking trail, so all that's open to the public. We have dog stations around so people can walk the dogs and clean up after themselves. So we're a dog-friendly community already. We're, hopefully attracting families to come here. We're doing outdoor concerts, we're doing public events. And so all those things are what we are today. And what's under construction is in the upper left. And that upper left area is what we're calling the district at the park, and that's where we're adding a lot of the density. And this is just a rendering of what's under construction. So if you go to the site, you can see connecting the hotel to 2 existing office buildings with 2 large parks in the district, and retail and apartment buildings.
And Shane, just to go back one slide, just to orient everybody, the far right corner, right near our meeting there, that's Embassy. So the construction that's happening is sort of on the left side of the screen, just to orient anyone who's ever been to Grand and Cane, Embassy, that area. This is what's going on in that construction zone currently.
That's correct. So the larger building in the middle, upper middle, that's a residential tower. It's 11 stories. It's 179 units. Across the street is a smaller building, 8 stories with 149 units, so 328 in total. And the timing of that is the larger one on the left side is under construction now. That'll open June of next year. The second residential tower, breaking ground in September, that'll open in 2027. Everything else is under construction now, opening in June of 2026 and November of 2026. This is just a view down Main Street. So this is your back to the hotel. You can see the existing office building in the background. That's the 2 residential towers with the retail underneath. This is just showing sort of our anchors. And so, trends are from both dining experiences and shopping experiences. People are looking for lifestyle malls, outdoor malls. And so looking at those national trends of comps that are outside of Dallas and Houston and nationally, really heavy focus on dining and entertainment. So we're creating restaurant concepts to be the anchors. Really strong concentration on outdoor spaces. So we've got a category that's just parks and recreation. So we're creating 5 parks connected by a trail. Wellness destinations, obviously Fieldhouse is our gym concept. Lifetime Fitness is already in the campus. That's a public use that's on our campus already. And then the last category is this resort brand, which is tying in our hotel to our workspaces to our residences. We created a hospitality team called Table and Banter. So this is how we're running all our hospitality uses, including our restaurants. This is just some branding and some of the names of the restaurants that are coming to the campus. And I'll show you some slides about each of them individually. So from a work standpoint, we did a major repositioning and we upgraded all our office buildings and we're now 97% leased. We have companies like Blackstone relocating from downtown Summit. We just signed a deal with Halion, who's leaving Liberty Corner, and we have Hewlett Packard, Samsung. Obviously, Fiserv is a big deal. Everyone knows about Fiserv moving here. So we have 5 office buildings. 3 of them are branded as work resort. 2 of them are single-use buildings with L'Oreal and Fiserv. This is the upgrade package. So we're calling it now a work resort, so high-end amenities. And this is the other 2 lobbies and amenity spaces. So gyms, elevated cafe, catering services, game rooms, all serviced by our hospitality team. And then Live, that same brand is going to extend into our apartments. So the RT workspaces is the office, RT residences is the apartment buildings, and then we'll have the same resort team running them. So high-end finishes, amenities, rooftop pools, outside grills, game rooms, working stations, and then venue spaces. This is just some more renderings. And then the hotel. So the MC Suites is the 4th ranked MC Suites in the world. So we're outperforming the Shore Hills Hilton and the Governor Morris. And we are obviously have a Granny Cane and Starbucks there. So dining is one of our big anchors. So Granny Cane is our restaurant that opened in 2018. Starbucks opened in 2018. And then we're creating this entertainment building. So this is under construction now. So you can see one of the parks on the left is a playground with a sculptural fish, which is a New Jersey brook trout. That has a slide that leads up to a Mexican restaurant, and then a taqueria, a beer garden, and then a brewery. And then Bash on the left is Bowling Alley Steakhouse. So that's a speakeasy concept that goes down an elevator and staircase into a large bowling alley, duck pin bowling, and a high-end steakhouse. This is just the floor plate, so you can see that upper level, how the Mexican restaurant's on the right, connects to the beer garden, connects to the brewery. This is the branding for the Mexican restaurant. So this will open in November of 2026. That's the exterior. And that's the interior. This is the branding for the taqueria, which is an extension of the Mexican restaurant, which then services the beer garden. So the beer garden is a public space, and it's just open to the public. It's all seasons, so it has these roll-up doors, and is serviced by the brewery on the right and the Mexican restaurant on the left. And that's the branding for the garden. And that's the inside. And this is the brewery. So our family was the largest rice seller in the world. We sold a lot of rice to breweries, and now we're going to be in the brewery business. And that is the interior and the exterior. So it's got a rooftop. It's called Emersites. It's got 5 outdoor fire pits, and it has stadium seating that looks down to an event plaza. This is the Bowling Alley Steakhouse. So from a floor plan, it's a large concept. It's got 14 duck pin bowling lanes. The blue area is just public space where it has some bars and some games. The purple in the upper right is the steakhouse. So you can go to the steakhouse, leave, you don't even care about the bowling, or you just bowl and don't care about the steakhouse. And then the far left are some event rooms and what we're calling a hi-fi room. So it's going to be a music-based restaurant concept that plays live music. This is the interior of the bowling. This is the steakhouse. And this is that hi-fi room. And then we're doing a coffee concept called Cafe Exchange that's underneath one of the residential buildings. And it's got a book exchange, a library, bookstore, high-end coffee, a stage for poetry reading, music at night, a dessert bar. So that's opening in June of 2026. The second level is a public co-working. So we have a private co-working club. This is now a public space, so elevated, servicing coffee and lunch. And then on the other side of the hotel, we're doing the North Grove, which is anchored by 3 restaurant concepts. One is called Grover's, and that's a 1950s roadside burger joint. Pickle on Top, that's a sports bar on top of Grover's, so it's called Pickle on Top with 6 pickleball courts. And then a membership-based dog park called Dogs Among People that has window service to Grover's, so beer and burgers with your dog. And then wellness concepts in the campus, Lifetime Fitness, Fieldhouse Gym, and Bathhouse. So Bathhouse is out of Brooklyn. They signed a 10-year lease. This is a 20,000 square foot, $20 million spa coming to the campus. So this will open in June of next year. And this is a day pass. So roughly $45, you get access to hot pools, cold pools, massage rooms, rooftop pools. So that's a great addition to our campus that we signed a lease with them. And then Play, this is now the outdoor spaces. So you can see we have 5 parks listed on the right, all connected by trails that are shown on the map on the left. That's open to the public right now. And this is the connection of that South Grove, which is built, North Grove, which is the dog park area. And then we're going to add some sport courts open to the public. And then this is North and South Grove. And this is just some of the branding of that North Grove area. This is the park that's in the district, adjacent to the Mexican restaurant. And this is the event plaza. So this is from the brewery looking down. So this is where we'll host some outdoor concerts, movie nights, hopefully farmers markets. And this will be a very big public space. And then shopping is a big part of what we're trying to attract here, is get other tenants, lease tenants, retail tenants to join us. So the blue is Main Street retail. And it's just a view down Main Street. Trying to get a small grocer, trying to get a liquor store, trying to get a restaurant concept, trying to get some retail to join us. And we're starting that effort right now. Then another view down Main Street. And then a view from the parking deck looking down. And then it's just showing some programming of the available spaces are in pink. All the other spaces in gray are concepts that we're creating and gonna run and operate. So of 180,000 square feet, 117 is already committed, which is us and Bathhouse. And then events is a big part of the programming and the public awareness is starting to do public events. So we have a calendar, monthly calendar of roughly 15 events, all open to the public, from outdoor concerts to cooking classes to puppy yoga to book reading clubs. All these things are hopefully a destination for the public to start enjoying our campus. It's just a little bit of branding of it. And this is that same public plaza in the winter. We're going to have a skating rink. And then all accessible through an app. And then the repositioning of the park. So we're no longer a corporate campus. We're now an open public space with all these activities. And this is the phasing. So you asked about the phasing. So the blue is phase 1. That's June of 2026. Opening, all under construction now. Phase 2 is that entertainment building. That's November 2026, all under construction now. And then the red is that last residential building. And that is breaking ground September. And that will be September 2027. So all this will be done in roughly 2 years. And then we did a massing study to look at how we could add additional uses, predominantly apartments. So continuing to extend Main Street would be the opportunity. And so Main Street obviously is the center area. The yellow are potential locations for additional uses. And so when you look at it from a massing standpoint, continuing that Main Street feel with the retail uses that continue. So adding more retail, adding the apartments. And so, move all this density that the township has to now do in the next round of COA to a more dense area and make it extend to what we currently are building. And so obviously, intermixing it with all the great parks and walking trails will extend all the way through the end of the Main Street with obviously a lot of parking to support this. And then that's it.
Thank you, Shane. Does anybody on the governing body have any questions or comments before I open it up to?
Just a quick question. I saw like a September calendar. Was that, is that actually going to happen in September, this coming September?
Yeah, so we have a webpage called thepark@newjersey.com, and it has a listing of all our events. So the public can look at it, and there's an opportunity to buy tickets. So every month, we're refreshing that with new events.
Yeah, I could have sworn I saw an adoption event for dogs, September 13th or something like that. So
It's in mimosas.
Lots of mimosas. That's a big one. And then we also do puppy yoga. So it's an adoption agency. So you can do yoga with puppies and they lick you and then you end up buying them,
that's
taking them home. So yeah, so a lot of dog concentrated efforts, including obviously the dog park. One of our tenants that we're trying to attract that we're hopefully going to sign an LOI with is a doggy daycare. So we're trying to add them to the campus. We're also negotiating now a opportunity to do actually a daycare use on the campus as well.
awesome.
I have 2 quick questions. The apartments, they're rentals?
The rentals,
Rentals.
correct.
And my second question is, because I'm not in your business and my visual spatial intelligence is not great. If you wanted to go from like Starbucks to the other side of the district, like how far is that?
Yep. So basically from one side, 185 acres, one side of our campus to the other is just under a mile along 78. And so the hotel is on the western side of the campus, which is where this is. So walking from Starbucks to this is a 5-minute walk, 4-minute walk.
So that goes into my other question, like for people that maybe aren't walkers, do you plan to have some kind of way to like if they wanted to enjoy the whole district?
Yep.
Some kind of movable transportation?
Yeah, so we already have bikes on the campus. So our version of city bikes. So they're park bikes and they're free. So you just have to download an app, it unlocks the bike, and then you can bike around the whole campus.
And I'm thinking about people that are maybe have disabilities and
Yep.
can't bike either. Are there going to be options like a little mini trolley, I don't know, something like that?
We do not have that, no.
Yeah, something to think about, right?
So we are, some of our office buildings are on the other side of campus, and so we are thinking about, golf carts, some type of things like that that are sort of people movers. So we are exploring some of that stuff.
People movers, I like that.
Yeah,
I said trolley, and then Disney World.
yeah.
I think that it'd be great because I think that we have to make sure we're appealing to all kinds of people to enjoy
Yeah.
this area. Thank you.
So,
I don't have any
is
questions.
Margaret? Oh, go ahead, John.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mark. Go ahead, you can go.
Oh, my question is on the massing diagram that you showed.
Yep.
That's over a large parking lot, which many of us know that the parking lots are pretty full most of the time at Connell. So how will the parking be accommodated if you're putting buildings on the parking lot?
Yeah, so when you look at the national comps, you'll see almost zero surface parking. And so all these concepts are supported by garage parking. So anything we do here would have garage parking.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, Mike, this is my comment. It's so quick and simple to explain. This is the second time I'm seeing this, and it gets more impressive every time you do it. So,
John?
excellent job.
So Shane, obviously, I think most people know that our affordable housing plan for the next 10 years does include a significant amount of housing, sort of in alignment with what you're showing here tonight. Can you speak to the timing? You've got 2 residential buildings that are going to be built in the next 18 months, 24 months. What would be the phasing for if the market changes, or the other side of that is Fiserv moved in, right? And they were interested in taking executive level apartments, just speak to how quickly something like that would be built out in your strategic planning.
Yeah, so our hope is to have the rezoning happen this summer, and then we would start working with our design team and probably look to get a national master planner to help us look at the right way to do that massing. And we would then work towards coming up with a plan that we submit to the township for approval. And from a phasing standpoint, this is about $500 million of work, and we are obviously have a plan to execute this by the end of 2027. And so the thought would be that we would have approvals with the township for the next phasing before that's done, so that we can then start planning that development. So our guess would be sometime in 2028, 2029, we'd be starting to think about the next round of apartments.
And you're showing right now 4 buildings, additional buildings?
So that I wouldn't say that's anything real. That's just basically how could we fit on this campus. And so this was actually a study we showed that is about 1,200 units total in the campus. We obviously are 328, and I think the township's talking about potentially another 600. So you'd look at maybe just 2 of the 4 buildings as really the massing, right? And but this is showing how we could even be bigger than maybe what for your next round of COA. We could continue to be a spot for you guys to use.
And obviously concerns that residents bring up on a regular basis, traffic. Can you just speak to, how the engineering work that you have done, will do, and will continue to do, as well as, the storm regulations and, complying with DEP and ensuring that we don't have those issues. But I guess what I'm saying, maybe as an umbrella thought, is this is that work, live, play kind of environment. The expectation is that you live, you work there, or at least a majority of the time, like many people do. They work from home 3 days a week since COVID. And then you have the entertainment zone. So the car sort of stays parked, or maybe you don't have a car. Can you just speak to that concept and then the other 2 issues, I guess?
When I forget to answer part of your question, just let me know, because there's a lot of questions there. So the big picture is, from a traffic standpoint, is that the mix of uses have different uses at different times. So predominantly, what you're seeing on this first phase is a lot of restaurant concepts, they're evening uses. And so from a traffic, standpoint, and from a parking standpoint, the campus is relocating workers into diners. And then we are seeing a large trend of companies wanting to have their workforce have availability close to the work. So we would expect some percentage, if not a large percentage of our apartments are actually people that work in the campus. From whether it's, people that work in our concepts or for our company or within the campus, we have something like 30 companies in this campus, 1.5 million square feet office. And so there's roughly 9,000 people that work here. So of that, some percentage, when you have 328 apartments, are going to be filled with corporate users. So they're not driving to work, they're just walking to work. And then the extension of that, I've got a friend who's developing some properties in Morristown, and he's near downtown, and he's doing a couple hundred, and it's all corporate rentals. So that's people who are going to live near where they work. So I think that that is something that we would see a lot of. What were your other questions?
I think the stormwater
Oh, yeah.
compliance and concern.
Oh, so what's been great is that you guys switched to the review part of, before you go to planning board, you have the pre-reviews with your professional teams. So we have our obviously teams, Langen and others who would work with them obviously and be compliant and meet with all the latest regulations and do whatever the township needs us to do.
Just remind me again, how many acres of parkland are you developing through this project?
So when you look at those 5 parks plus the trail itself, so the trail is 3 miles. So if you take 3 miles, 10 feet wide, I mean, that's just several acres just by the trail itself. And then the parks themselves, so we're 10+ acres of just open parks and trails.
And the traffic light that will be installed at the entrance of the park on Plainfield Avenue, that occurs at
That will be next summer.
next summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to open it up. Please, as we normally do on an orderly basis, I always allow for conference session for residents to ask questions before the team leaves the meeting. So if someone has a question, please just name, address, and try to keep it to just a few minutes.
I didn't hear it all, I didn't hear it clearly, I'm getting old. But anyway, my name is Joe Iadanza. I live at 923 Mountain Avenue. How many total people do you expect a population to be there?
So it's currently as an office population. And with COVID and return to work from home, given any given day, different variations of population. Mondays and Friday, less than Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But we roughly have probably 9,000 people that work on this campus. And then we have a 176-room hotel and 328 apartments. And then Lifetime Fitness has got a big crowd as well.
So I would assume that your people, that you did a whole bunch of studies, like how many total vehicles do you expect on a day-to-day basis? Do you know, have a question, an idea?
I don't personally.
Okay, do you have any plans to widen any of the roads? I can get my colors.
So we will work with the township and whatever they think is sensible, we'd be open to obviously doing to the improvement of the area.
Because I mean, the arteries, the main arteries of Plainfield Avenue, and that's, you guys had that widened about 20 years ago. We don't have any more breakdown lanes, and when snow removal, there's nowhere to put the snow. Do you have any plans to do Diamond Hill? And is the other road on the bottom of the hill, is that Oakway?
Oakway comes in off 78, Valley Road is in front. Plainfield Avenue is in
Valley
front.
Road, okay, thank you. This is a difficult question for me to ask, but you're gonna have an effect on the local business people here. And how do you feel about that? You may be putting businesses out, people will not be profitable anymore. So,
Obviously, I don't like that. I don't know that that's true though. So the retail uses that we are adding are restaurant concepts predominantly. And the retail users that are looking to come here are predominantly in the entertainment, in the dining side or medical or health and wellness side. So we're not looking to compete with downtown. we're actually looking for alternate uses.
Yeah, I want to just take that conversation a little wider. When we were negotiating in 19 and 20 and 21, one of the primary concerns, I know Manny remembers this, and I think Susan does as well, was competing with the downtown, competing with the restaurants, and competing with the retail. And in certain instances, we changed some of the square footage in some of the spaces and, you know, was sure that they were mindful about the types of restaurants that we had in the downtown. So the downtown has always been first and foremost in what we do.
Thank you. And the other thing is, how bad were you affected by those floods the other day, July 14th? And what are your plans for any kind of remediation?
Yeah, so there was obviously it was a unique storm, tremendous amount of rain, short amount of time. There was a little bit, there was a water that came into the 5-serve building. And we're working with Langen, our civil engineer, to address that.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome. Please talk. Now's your chance.
Linda Rudicelli, 33 Dell Lane. You said 328 apartments, right? I didn't catch, how many of those are affordable housing? 45 are affordable housing. So will that meet our quota? So we don't have to add any more?
They're included in the plan, in the affordable housing plan that was submitted June 30th to the state of New Jersey. So it had, what is being proposed tonight is a part of the next 10 years of our affordable housing plan, correct?
So we don't have to have any more affordable housing for 10 years.
It's included in different developments. So
So
they'll have to,
so there is more developing besides this for affordable housing?
yes, there's,
Can't we put all the affordable housing in one place?
we have to spread it out. We don't, you know, if you're maybe talking about one affordable housing building, the township doesn't really own a whole lot of property to do that sort of thing where we, you know, in mass, I guess is what you're asking maybe.
How many more do we need?
What's our number, 170?
170
Our
units?
plan is.
No, affordable, and then you have the market rate, and we're
Right.
now requiring 20% of any development to be affordable, so we can get at the number faster. So even
Right.
the smaller developments.
So the full plan that we submitted to the state is online on our website, and it's not split equally, but a lot is going to Connell according to our plan. Some is going to Nokia 55 and over.
Senior, yeah, age restricted.
Age restricted housing. And then in the plan, there's a concept of an all affordable.
Small.
24
How
unit
many
building.
places are you talking about building
Um,
in total? I mean, sounds like we've already got like, what, 1,000 and all these other little ones. Why do we need so many more?
The state requires it every year, every 10 years.
If your taxes go towards fighting this, than building more, than accommodating all of this stuff. It just, you do not drive downtown and see the traffic downtown?
Yeah, I understand you're frustrated, but just do you have a specific question?
That's what I'm talking about. How can we limit these can they put more affordable housing in this unit? Or a separate building?
Perhaps in time, that might be an option, but right now we have an affordable housing plan that we've submitted to the state that we think is defensible. Because there are certain milestones or objectors, and it doesn't necessarily mean litigation, but objectors who can object to our plan. So we have to submit something that's realistic and something that we think is defensible. And the number of units that we have listed for Connell, we think that's defensible. Could it be more there in the future? Possibly. But we did show some at Nokia, which is age restricted, which we thought was in alignment with what's going on at Lantern Hill, New Providence across the street. It might be a better match in terms of, you know, older adults may not be driving as much. We did show a small, all affordable project in our plan, and I think there might be a few. Does anybody remember?
That's it.
Yeah.
24.
So how many affordable housing units do we have altogether?
For the next, have to build for the next 10 years.
What do we have done right now and what do we have to accomplish?
You know what, the numbers on the website, I don't want to misquote it, but we're very close to our,
There's an affordable housing section right on our
Yeah.
website under government under redevelopment, and it's all there, history, the numbers.
We're incredibly close to meeting the number for 2025, right? So there's a small amount that may roll into 2035. But check out the website, read it over. If you still have questions, let us know, and we'll have our affordable housing planner answer any questions that you have.
There's an affordable housing planner.
Yes,
Thank
that
you.
important.
It was 275, we dropped it.
Thank
came
you.
down to 240.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It was 275 and it was reduced down to 240 by us negotiating with the state.
275 is what we're required to.
We were.
So the state comes out in the beginning of the year, the state comes out with a number. They look at our vacant land and they decide how many affordable housing units that we have. Knowing that there might be land at Connell, knowing that there's a large tract of land in Nokia and maybe some other spots. Our affordable housing planner then sort of assesses all of the information and then, I won't say fights back, but disputes the number. So we went from 275, we submitted a smaller number, and we settled with the judge at 240.
And you said we have to add another 140? So we've all, with all the building that we went on, we only have 100?
240. Our new number for the next 10 years, from 2025 to 2035, is 240. Manny's saying it was 275.
Right.
We negotiated the number, disputed the number, and got it down to 240. So we have to build, or
Another 100 units.
240. 240.
We have 100 units.
240 is the number.
How many do we have right now?
It doesn't matter. You get a new round of numbers.
There's a new round. And the mayor was speaking about, and Liza was speaking at the website. It's really, really very clear, whoever developed this website, about the redevelopments that we've already done and what's coming up for the future. All the numbers are there. The links are right there. We're not happy. I mean, we all live here. This is the state. It's the state telling us what we have to do.
Are fighting there about.
And Scott can speak to that.
I can tell you, every single lawsuit has failed. They've lost. They've spent a lot of money. I mean, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, and every single one of them has failed. And what we're seeing in places where they are pushing too hard, what ends up happening is they lose their immunities from what are called builders remedy lawsuits, and developers are able to sue the township and essentially are able to build whatever they want, wherever they want, and the town gets no say over it. So it's a very fine line of what we're allowed to do. And at this point, I think we've pushed back as hard as we could. That's why we were able to get the number reduced to 240. But if we went any further, we were potentially exposing the town to a lot more risk.
And
So the ultimate number is 245.
Yeah. 240.
240.
240. And just to be clear, we're not building these. These are being done by the developers and developers. Okay, because I mean, I've heard the phrase a few times, we have, but it's not ours. It's a number given to us by the state, and the builders are doing it. When the builders come up to build, we're telling them 20% have to be set aside for affordable housing. So I need new construction. The builders come to the township or go to the planning board. They have to have that magic number there, and that goes to meet the state
I
requirements.
just don't understand why you can't put it all in one place and be done with it, and you're
That's right.
taking every little pocket of
Because
natural space.
In theory, you could, but you need to find a developer that'd be willing to do it. And I don't know of any developers that are willing to build 240 or so units in one spot.
we'd have to give them the land, give them the building,
Yeah.
pay for the building, and then maintain the building.
That is a thing. There are municipalities that essentially they give away town property. They pay a builder to build the property, knowing it's gonna be affordable housing. They sometimes pay for improvements, but that is a many multi-million-dollar project, and you have to have the land available, and I don't know, that's
And long-term maintenance.
long-term maintenance.
Township becomes a landlord.
Well, we've already gotten rid of all our available land, and this should have been thought of 10 years ago, right? Before all these.
I mean, it's been an ongoing thing for the last 30 years now, 40 years now, somewhere we just keep going through these new rounds of this, and they just, the state keeps adding to our obligation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. You have to come to the podium. When you're ready, you don't raise your hand, you come to the podium and just give your name and address.
How you doing? Javier Morales, 125 Lawrence Drive. Quick question, 9,000 employees. Did this town get a tax for each employee? Do we tax them on that?
We get property taxes?
No, employee tax, meaning do the they pay the town.
As far as I know, no, because that's only certain urban areas. I don't think New Jersey has anything like that for us that we can set, have a separate.
And we look into that, that's 9,000.
I looked into that before the last round and I didn't see it available. It might have changed. But that was mostly set up for urban areas and for other sections for the redevelopment.
Right, that could help us,
Yeah,
you know, attract that. As far as the hotels, well, there's,
but we do get a hotel tax that goes. to the
Occupancy
township.
tax, yeah, we get one from, we get a hotel occupancy tax off of Embassy. It's about $25,000-$30,000 a year.
okay, and there's also
Is it more than that now?
more.
That's
And how about the hotel tax? Do they pay for the money for police and fire as well? A certain percentage?
The hotel tax, we take a percentage off of every room rented. And it's transmitted to the state collects it and then they transmit it to us monthly. I think we're running. No, I'm not gonna say, I don't want to say numbers because I don't have them offhand. I haven't looked at them in detail recently. However, so that goes to our general revenue. We anticipate it goes toward our general revenue fund.
Okay,
So that supports the police, the fire, the running of the whole town.
okay,
As well as property taxes.
That's
and-
right.
As well as property
Of course.
taxes, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Javier.
Luann Alario Ackerman, 28 La Secla Place. I'm new at this, coming to these meetings. I talk to neighbors, I ask questions, I do read some articles. I'm on the mailing of Berkeley Heights. And I live on La Secla Place, which is that small street that the people detour through to beat the light at Snyder and Springfield. And I now have to go to the light in order to get out on Springfield because I can't get out on where Trap Rock is because there's too much traffic. And our main concern in this little neighborhood is that optional 24 low-income building that we heard is opted to go where the house that the town now owns next to the water treatment plant. Is that true or is that not true?
That is in our plan, and I know you're new at this, but if there's anything related to Connell, when we get to the citizens.
Okay, it is related to Connell,
so you
because
just-
at that meeting,
Uh-huh.
they said that they had a choice of doing that 24 house, completely low income, and that's a complete expense of the town, upkeep. We become landlords, we have to do everything for that building and we pay for everything. Or Connell was willing to take that portion of becoming, I think, 130 apartments to satisfy the 24. And you just said that that is not an option. So I'd like to hear from him if that is an option or not, because now I'm hearing contradictory stories.
It's in our affordable housing plan. I won't speak for Mr. Connell, but I'm
Well,
sure.
can he speak?
If he wanted 24 more units, but understand, 24 affordable units.
Becomes 130.
80%, right,
Correct, and that was discussed, and they even asked us what would we prefer.
right.
And we all said, Connell, take it over, because they know what they're doing. They're doing a beautiful job. Maybe I would like to live there rather than downtown. It's more conducive, it's more comprehensive, it's a better plan than what we have in our downtown area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? What meeting were you at that you got?
Planning board, I'm assuming.
Planning?
Planning board, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments related to Connell?
I'd like to get an answer from him.
Go ahead.
We're all pointing at each other. Evening, everyone. My name is Cameron McLeod. I'm an attorney working with Connell. I'm from Gibbons PC. I'm working with these guys on the affordable housing components of the redevelopment that has been worked through. And I want to thank the township first and foremost for working with us and working through this rezoning. We're really excited about it. We're excited to work with you and kind of see where this goes. As to your question, ma'am, sorry, where'd you go? There you are. Sorry. With regard to the what the plan includes, right? It has this question, right? Right. Yep. Right. Yep. Right, so right now there are 480 units total that are proposed as a,
Just answer this simply.
sure, yeah, go.
We would take on the obligation
Yeah.
for the town wants.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
There's an easy answer.
All right, so let's just, are there any other comments or questions for the Connell team? All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming this evening. We appreciate it. We'll give you a moment to leave the room. Unless
You wanna stay?
you want to stay, you don't have to go.
Thank you, Sean.
I mean, you guys can move if you want.
Okay, moving on to the regular agenda and the approval of the minutes, please.
Would that the following minutes are distributed be accepted and approved? Public meetings, June 26, 2025, July 15, 2025, and August 5, 2025.
Second.
And discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Illis,
Yes.
Mr. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Polk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I move to open the public hearing on the ordinances being considered for final adoption.
Second it?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Illis,
Yes.
Mr. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Polk.
Yes.
Okay. Comments on ordinances up for final adoption are welcome during the public hearing. There will be one public hearing for all the ordinances listed. Before making a comment, all speakers must identify their name, address for the record. Each speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes. And yes, the council president will keep time. So the hearing on the ordinances is now open. Just one ordinance.
There's two, I think there's two ordinances.
That's, I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, right, the mandatory set aside and then the capital improvements. Yes, correct.
This is the one on the ordinance amending the township code to increase affordable mandatory set aside.
And the second one, all ordinances, any ordinances that are on for final adoption, this is your opportunity.
The whole,
to
whole,
speak.
whole shooting match.
Well, just the two ordinances, and then you'll get another opportunity during the citizens hearing.
Because Scott, I think you said that this will be the end of affordable housing until 2035.
That will be the next round. At that point, the state is most likely going to come up with another set of numbers of what all the towns in New Jersey are going to have to do.
Because I was going to request a moratorium by Berkeley Heights to be placed on all further affordable housing. The storms of the past month is nothing more than proof of the effects of overdevelopment on water runoff and wastewater facilities. It's also a matter of time before the infrastructure of roads, bridges, schools, electrical grid will be overburdened beyond capabilities. I'm just glad no one's building an AI facility over here. The state of New Jersey is being dictatorial over our quality of life. I enjoy seeing a deer, fox, raccoon. I haven't seen a turkey in about 5 years. I haven't seen a turtle in about 6 years. So I think it's about time we try to take the bull by the horns and realize that affordable housing is a wonderful concept, but when it's abused by other people, it's not a good thing. I don't know about you, but I enjoy seeing wildlife and green areas in the town. There are lawsuits out there, I know, they've been fighting for years, and there's they are making some headway. It will be a big topic in this year's election for governor. No two ways about it. So what's my biggest concern is, we gotta take our lives back. We can't allow people to, run it. Do anybody here know the formula that they use for affordable housing?
So
Have you ever seen it?
I have is
Did you go to NASA? Because I looked at it, I couldn't I mean, I'm not a wizard, but by the same token, when I read that formula, it's insane.
you and me both. I agree.
Okay.
I can tell you any affordable housing lawyer in New Jersey will agree with that. It is a ridiculously complicated, unnecessary formula.
Joe, I gotta tell you something. So I hear your frustration. I moved to New Jersey to Basking Ridge. There was so much building going on in 1993. I said, I've got to move to a town that doesn't have land available. Every town has land available, and it's
Who's much the land?
we are as frustrated as you are, and that's the first thing I thought of with the flooding. There's nothing our hands are literally
I
tied.
know our hands are tied, but are we gonna invent land, or we're gonna start to be like the Dutch, and we're gonna take over the Passaic River so these people don't have to have water in their houses? You know, it boggles the imagination because
It absolutely does. We sit in meetings with the numbers and we're all sit there like, it's unbelievable and there's really no option. And we do feel held hostage sometimes by our state.
The other problem is too, is that, as the lady in the back mentioned, I believe you mentioned, somebody mentioned about
Luann,
bringing a suit against the state. The problem is that it's not just we just don't have, like, we're gonna go to our lawsuit fund. Okay, you know who's gonna come back on? It's gonna come back on the taxpayers because we don't have the money to go and say it, so we're gonna go to you and go, hey, we're gonna raise your taxes because you want us to sue the state. And to knock off the housing and stuff like that. It's just
it's a vicious circle.
it is. It's
Absolutely.
absolutely vicious cycle.
So maybe Scott will do it pro bono.
But you'll have to talk them into that.
What about Nova and Burns? Maybe they'll help us out.
They're definitely more expensive than me.
All right, so that was my big spiel about affordable housing. I figure by that time, I may not be around, so we'll see what happens. And I'll talk later on other issues here. Okay?
Alrighty, thank you. Jim.
Oh, I do have one quick question. A little frustrated. I read the amendments, I read this, I read that. I was gonna ask a question about the tax abatement, not a tax abatement, there's a company, JJV LLC. It's spelled out pretty well in here, but before I read this in here, I didn't know what the heck was going on. There's a company,
Well, maybe we can address
somebody's
it.
house goes into default, somebody pays for it.
Joe, maybe we can deal with that during citizens hearing.
Okay,
Just try to keep it to the two ordinances, just so we have
Gotcha.
enough time for later.
I'll bring that up. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
absolutely. Thank you.
I just wrote your initials next to the resolution.
Susan will remind you.
Yep.
All right, then I guess we'll close the,
Mr. Leicester, you think what to say? Oh, okay.
that's
I don't
next.
want- I saw you standing up before. I don't want to dismiss you.
Okay, well, then I move to close the public hearing on the ordinances being considered for final adoption.
Second that?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Zillis,
Yes.
Mr. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue.
Yes. So Angela, would you please read ordinance 2025-25?
An ordinance amending the township code to increase the affordable mandatory set aside.
I move to adopt the ordinance as read by the clerk.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Zillis,
Yes.
Mr. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue.
Yes.
Okay, I move, Angela, please read the 2025-26.
It's a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the township of Berkeley Heights in the county of Union, New Jersey, appropriating $3,565,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,386,000 bonds or notes of the township to finance part of the cost thereof.
I move to adopt the ordinance as read by the clerk.
Second that?
Any discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Kudo,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Zillis,
Yes.
Mr. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue.
Yes.
Gonna move to open the citizens hearing?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo,
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Zillis,
Yes.
Mr. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue.
Yes.
Comments are welcome during the public comment period during this meeting on any matter over which the township has jurisdiction. To make your comment, the speaker must come forward to the microphone and state his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. The mayor, council president will keep time. Please promptly yield the floor when time is called and return to your seat. Your cooperation and adherence to these rules of order will ensure an orderly and respectful meeting. And with that, the citizens' hearing is open.
Big clock this time.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Sinque. I live at 168 Briarwood Drive East. At the last meeting, Mayor, you mentioned 6 inches of rain under 2 hours was unprecedented. That might be true, but what about the next storm? On Sunday, August 17th, we had another heavy rain event that lasted for 2 hours and produced 2.5 inches of rain. Did you know that the creek on Briarwood Drive East came within feet of overflowing its bank? And at Robbins was at the top of its banks, and the catch basin at Robbins and Springfield was at full capacity. We cannot keep using unprecedented rain as the explanation. If this was truly unprecedented, we wouldn't see so many residents sending emails showing pictures and coming here to plead for help. This happens too often and the system in place is no longer sustainable. Like anything else, our cars, our home, and our health, the creek and its infrastructure require regular maintenance. That means not only keeping it clear of obstructions, but also addressing sediment buildup and erosion. I recently watched the last New Providence 812 town meeting and noticed that they are ahead of our town in terms of maintenance. They budget yearly routine inlet outfall inspections, and where cleaning, desnagging is performed on their creeks. This does not require permits. At the very least, this should be implemented immediately. I also want to address the ongoing confusion with creek ownership, whether it's private or township. Regardless of ownership, the creek is being used by the township storm water system. That means it's shared responsibility. Maintenance, whether dredging the creek, rerouting stormwater, creek lining, or otherwise mitigating flood risk, cannot be dismissed simply because you don't know if it lies on private land. If the township were not directing stormwater to the creek, we would not be having this discussion. Could also be possible runoff impact of recent developments, YMCA, Whispering Way, condos, and the Woodcrest was underestimated. If storm studies were done with outdated standards, they may not reflect the storms we've seen over the last 4 years. Even after contacting the NJDEP, they acknowledge that there appears to be significant issues warranting action, but cannot act unless the township takes the first step by submitting the proper applications and engineering plans. The township should explore additional stormwater management options, especially in the low-lying areas where residents' homes keep experiencing flooding. One option could be storing stormwater using an underground retention basin or another detention method. Lastly, I'd like clarification on something. I received a flyer for candidates running on the Democratic ticket for town council. One of their stated priorities is to secure increased funding for stream and waterway cleaning, easement maintenance, and flood mitigation measures. Is this true? And does this commitment apply to both private and township property? Councilman Susan Pogue is already on the council, and if this issue is so important enough for her to include it in her campaign materials, then why has it not been made visible priority since 2021 when the residents began raising their concerns? Thank you very much.
I'm going to let Scott speak to the legal aspect of the first part of your statement, and then I'd like to speak to the second part of your statement.
In terms of what we can.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it. I'm sorry.
Let me just start while he gathers his thoughts. Give me a
Sorry.
second. So we are in the process of, and it's not just your neighborhood, it's many other
Yes, and
neighborhoods.
I
I'm sure you've
understand.
seen that,
I
right?
understand.
So we're in the process of meeting with our professionals and our attorney to figure out what we can do, what we're required to do with DEP. We are meeting internally with our professional and our in-house staff on Thursday. And then we will figure out if we need to expand that meeting to DEP and the county. We also need to have the council on board because this is something that, you know, if you're talking maintenance or mitigation or a project or engineering study, you're talking probably significant funding, right? And every year we have to pass our budget and we have to stick to our budget, and we didn't expect these storms, which is why we had to pass that special bond, right?
Yeah.
So we have to do some planning. We usually start the budget process in the fall. So that's something that we'll have to plan for in terms of, do we need outside professionals? Do we need specialists? What does that look like? Do we need to hire additional people in DPW? What does that look like? We have to work with our CFO because we also have a cap. So we can't go over 2% of the just to keep it simple, is that a
It's
simple way
right.
to say it?
Yeah.
We can't go over 2% of the previous year. So for example, if we only have, you know, wiggle room of 200,000 and we find out it's going to cost us townwide $2 million, there are things that we still have to figure out.
Mhm.
And I know that you guys came here, and I'm really glad that you came here and you expressed yourselves and your frustration. We are working on it. I just don't have a clear, you know, here's the answer, here's the timeline, this is how we're going to handle it. But we are in action, so know that.
Okay.
And then,
Can I jump in for 1 second? Great. To your point about watching the Providence, I had an email exchange with Mr. Kagan, who was here also.
Mhm.
I sent them some stuff off the state's website. Just gonna read this. verbatim off the state's website. New Jersey State regulations, NJDEP permits, dredging in brooks and streams often requires a permit from NJDEP, particularly under the Flood Hazard Area Control Act rules and the Freshwater Wetlands Protection Act rules. Flood Hazard Area Control Act rules. Dredging within regulated flood hazard areas requires authorization, often an individual permit with specific technical standards. Freshwater Wetlands Protection rules. Dredging and removal of freshwater wetlands or state open water soil sediments requires a freshwater wetlands permit. Several general permits may be available. General Permit 26. General Permit 26 is available for local government agencies, minor stream cleaning to remove obstructions. Permit has limitations on the area cleaned, where removed material can be placed, and cannot be used in certain sensitive areas. Coastal zone management rules, dredging in a regulated coastal area that probably doesn't pertain to us. Dredged material disposal, regulations also cover the disposal of dredged material. Stormwater management rules, townships must comply with stormwater management regulations potentially applicable to dredging projects. This is just the tip of the iceberg from the state. So for you to look at New Prov and say that they're doing stuff ahead of us,
But there's stuff that can be done that doesn't need permits.
no.
What about cleanup? Nobody cleans up anything.
That falls under the dredging of the permit, where
So
it's
just,
supposed to go.
but,
You understand what you're talking about,
Right.
okay? Okay, we have to go within our sphere, what we can do. Once we get outside of that.
You need a permit just to come down in that creek and take crap out. I'm not talking about digging. I'm just talking about clearing.
Well, so it gets extraordinarily complicated because one, we don't own the river. The creeks and streams are owned by the state of New Jersey, and the access to those has to go through private properties. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of private properties which we can't just walk through without getting permission of owners. So I guess I'll say it's extraordinarily complicated, and one wrong move by us opens up the township up to a lot of liability, a lot of potential liability, especially when you start doing work on one part of the stream. It can have downstream effects that aren't planned for. That's one of the reasons why it has to be so carefully looked at. So I know we're all chomping at the bit to do it and do what we can, but it's just extraordinarily complicated.
I mean, as long as this ball needs to keep rolling, we just can't hear, we're trying,
I
like,
want you to believe me.
yeah. Cause I know you and I,
Like sit here.
I know
I
what
will
you
be
went
the
through.
first one out there with a shovel,
Yeah,
okay, doing what I have to do. I clean up the storm runoff next to my house.
so do we.
Whatever, so.
It's not enough. It needs more. Like on Sunday, which was not an unprecedented rainfall, my husband's blood pressure is going through the roof because the creek is almost cresting over our backyard. Like, and it was 2 inches. We have rain coming tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow brings. I know the forecasters say that the hurricane's out, but that doesn't mean crap anymore. My husband's already a nervous wreck for tomorrow night, thinking we're gonna have to take all the stuff out of our crawl space. And that's our lives now. Every time it rains, our lives is, what is tonight gonna bring us? We need action. There needs to be something done and done quickly.
hold us accountable.
I'm just gonna point out, this is, also the town has, in the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, we have gotten substantive grant funds for anti-flooding projects, the West Side Drainage 500, your area is the next area. But, we have been working our way around town. We have Passaic River anti-flooding project that we're doing, the West Side Drainage. We just did some green infrastructure drainage at Old Farm Orchard, Mercier, because yes, there are flooding problems all throughout town, so yes. This is part of the big review that we're doing this week.
Good evening, everyone. Ruth Brogdon, 133 Lawrence Drive. You get a tag team with us.
Yeah.
I'm also here, we're also here to speak on the issue of the flooding, particularly in the Briarwood, Lawrence, and Robbins area. We were not able to be here for the August 7th meeting, but I want to thank all of my neighbors who came because they really spoke very strongly and made the point of what we have suffered with and continue to suffer with. We're 19 years residents here. We've seen the storms get stronger. We've seen the number of flooding increase, and we've seen the number of personal
stress events increase as well. Angie, you mentioned at that meeting that you saw, it looked like the Colorado River going down Park Avenue. That's what our backyard looked like, okay? And that's not a sentinel event. This is the third or fourth time it looked like a river in our backyard. And this is like Jackie said, this is a lot of personal stress, and this is repeated, and we can't live like this any longer. I'm also really concerned about it being a public safety issue, quite honestly. From my front door on Lawrence Drive, I can see the Lawrence Drive Bridge and the Robbins Avenue Bridge. There was a woman who got stranded in her car because she couldn't go over the bridge. She parked her car in front of our house. She proceeded over the bridge. She could not tell the bridge from the bank. That's how high it was. She almost slipped and went under that bridge. So it's a not in my backyard situation anymore. That could have been one of our fellow residents who could have, God forbid, been swept under that bridge. And we need to think about that. When I listened to the 8-7 meeting, I heard a lot of confusion back and forth. I heard a lot of this person, this private citizen, the township, and we need some clarity. We need clarity, we need communication. There was this talk of citizens need to go in and clean up their creek. Who knows that? In my neighborhood of 19 years, I've seen turnover of my immediate neighbors. I don't think they know that. You're talking about maintaining and cleaning. My idea of maintaining my lawn is obviously different than the next person. Where's the standardization? Where's the enforcement that Keith Kagan talked about? This is something we really need to be careful about when we say, okay, you just go out and do it. There's got to be guidance. There's got to be standardization. There's got to be not me, Ruth Brogdon, walking down 3-4 streets to make sure my neighbors are doing that job. I need the burden to not be put on the citizens only. We need the burden also to be shared with our community, with our governing body. We elected all of you into office for the benefit of our protection, our security, and we need that. One closing item. That's great. The park is great. Everybody's going to want to live there. You know what? Can you make it the best place to live for us who are already living here?
That's it. You can follow that up.
No, that's fine. You know, either one of us has to come. Like both of us come. Great point. So it's been a while since I've been here with you guys. So it's good to see you guys. Wish for better circumstances. Oh, can you hear me?
No.
Oh, Kyle Brogdon, 133 Lawrence Drive. So I've been sitting back. If you guys know me, I'm very patient. I listen. And there's been a lot of dialogue that's not really helpful, a lot of frustrations, a lot of finger pointing, blaming. That's not going to resolve anything or get us anywhere. So that's not my style. You guys have worked with me in the past. It's a lot of righteous upset folks here, but that's not going to solve some of our problems. So for me, it's about how do we shift the dialogue, right? How do we engage in a dialogue that is shared responsibility, which my wife was talking about, and problem solving and have a bias for action. We know red tape. You know, I work in corporate America. I work with FDA. I know the red tape. Red tape is there. We understand the process and how long it takes. However, what are some of the things that we can engage in collectively to do this? There's some responsibilities that we need to take ownership of as citizens, how we are contributing, whether it's leaf blowing or other things, into the waterway system that could potentially make a drastic situation worse. So we could use some education and training on how we can do our part with that. But there are some things that when it comes to legally maintenance, these aren't maintenance type things. These are structural problems that are going to take a long time to resolve. So what do we do in the in-between time? I'm very proactive. One of the things I'd like to be able to consider, 3 things I'd like to be able to consider. One is, let's do some threat assessments. Let's take a look at our systems to see where the most vulnerable points are in there. And then have a plan of action based on most vulnerable to least vulnerable, how we might come across and fix that. Because having a boil the ocean approach, waiting for a DEP clearance or whatever, is going to take a long time. But if we know where the pressure points are, what's the plan of action to kind of shore up the most immediate? And then the other things are, how can we help train some of our citizens? Like, how can our citizens be more engaged with this? I would suggest maybe we hire someone that come in and train us, teach us on proper safe maintenance, right? Also, what they could do is we could also form a task force, right? If we form a task force within the town and we have folks responsible for, we call them region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And these folks, maybe not necessarily the folks who live on this property, but also live in the surrounding areas, help pre-storm and post-storm. So now we're all trained. We can do some assessments on what's happening. We can take a look at where there's debris or things that could be problematic before the storm gets, but then they can move into action once the storm is by. And that's how neighbors take care of neighbors, right? So if you guys do your part, provide some resources, we do our part with a little bit of manpower, maybe there's a common ground in the middle that we can solve this thing. But we can't wait for the bureaucracy and the red tape to clear to do this. It's like we're well-abled, intelligent citizens, and you guys are citizens, you're not just, representatives, you're citizens. So how do we do this thing together? That's the one thing I would take away from this. How do we do this and partner on this and be good neighbors, right? Not defensive, deflective, not accusatory, but partners in this thing.
So to piggyback on what you're saying, Kyle, a few years ago, Manny, I don't know if you remember, the Environmental Commission led a cleanup of the Passaic River, and a group of, I think we were like 30 people, and they ran it, so we had guidance on what to take out. I mean, we found things like sinks. I mean, a lot of really heavy rock and debris. And I'm wondering if maybe we can use our members of the Environmental Commission to guide us again. Because you want to make sure the residents who are doing the cleanup are also safe.
And there needs to be some reporting back, yeah.
But Kyle, just,
Yeah.
I love the idea of a task force. I
Mhm.
love doing it by region because we probably have 4 highly impacted areas.
Mhm.
Going back to the assessment, we have been doing the assessment
Mhm.
since the storm. That's why it's taken us a little bit of time to bring everybody together. We're gonna take that feed forward now and figure out what we can do and can't do. The next step is the DEP and figuring out what we need from them, or maybe some of it's not, maybe some of it we do need permitting. The county is another step in terms of their property and getting them to come to the table and be a partner. And I love the idea, Ruth, of standardizing and communicating and the guidelines of telling our residents what they can do and can't do, quite frankly. So really good feed forward. Take that under
Yeah.
advisement. It sounds like you've got a new chairmanship as the task force of flooding.
Yeah.
Interested?
Well, two, I have a young man at home who's a
Oh,
recent
my
environmental
goodness.
scientist graduate who's been chomping at the bit with ideas on how to improve this. So not this older Brogdon, there's a younger Brogdon for that. And one other thing to consider is let's use some technology. There may be some modeling software that'll help us predict certain things. So if we can start to look at weather patterns, shifting in soil erosion, where the vulnerable weak points are. So maybe we can use some technology to help us get ahead of the curve on some of this.
Great feed forward.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Good ideas, thank you.
And tell Noah he's now the chairman of the Berkeley Heights Flooding Mitigation Task Force.
Helmets wait.
I'll sign the executive order tomorrow.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Mayor. Good evening, members of the Township Council. I didn't think I have to talk about stormwater tonight.
Just for those who don't.
Richard Leister, 49 Summit Avenue, I forgot. I'm going to talk about 3 things, 2 points and a question. A couple of weeks ago, we sent a resolution about the Packaging Product Stewardship Act, Senate Bill S 3398 and Assembly Bill 5009. This bill would reduce waste, increase recycling rates, create jobs, reduce toxicity in products, provide millions of dollars in savings for taxpayers, provide new money to local governments to manage waste, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I ask the council to please consider passing this resolution, which I sent.
Was it
And
just
I
in?
also sent.
I'm sorry, can I just interrupt?
I sent a link to the actual bill.
No, but it wasn't a local ordinance. It was a resolution in support of the legislation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Second point, stormwater. I support everything the previous speakers talked about. You need to be aware, and I'm sure you are partially aware, that one of the major contributors to stormwater runoff is the fact that a lot of homes connect their downspouts directly to the street. That's a lot of impervious surface that's coming into the street as water. So if you have a water quality storm of 1.5 inches of rain in 2 hours, we had more than that. With impervious surface of 450 square feet, that's only 20 by 25 square feet. A water quality storm generates more than 420 gallons of runoff in that short period. And many homes in Berkeley Heights have downspouts that connect directly to the street and sump pumps that connect directly to the street. That's part of the problem. Third point, what is the status on the sports field at Lower Columbia Park?
I don't know what the exact update is because that's something the Rec Commission is working on, but I can reach out to them and get an update.
Okay.
How about that, Rich? I like that.
Hi, Linda Stein, 55 Chaucer Drive. I just want to go on record and say I'm representing the Chaucer Drive area. We've had flooding numerous times over the years. My backyard, I have the creek in my yard, which is the runoff from the Passaic. And believe me, it has been at least 15 times that I've had lakefront property. And it's going like that. I cannot do anything in my backyard because it's so vulnerable. And it comes right up to the block of my house. I mean, right there. It has come in, not often, but enough that, do I want to finish my basement? We unfinished it at one point because of the water damage. Do I want to, take that risk? I don't know. But I believe dredging is the answer, and I know what you said, Mr. Foster, but there has to be a place where we can start. From neighbors who were there longer than me, I've been there over 35 years, but I think it was maybe 37 or 38 years was the last time it was dredged. There must have been permission granted then. Can we look into how that was done? And what we can do now to start the ball rolling? Because I've noticed in the 35 years I've been there that the creek is not as deep as it was. It is so shallow now. And what's in there is my backyard. It keeps going in and and a lot of the trees that are, on the border of, you see all the roots showing, like it's all worn away. It's all erosion. So the trees are going to come down, then they're going to clog it worse. And something has to be done, I mean, I know it's a lot of areas in town, but we have always been hit hard. So, thank you.
My parents lived on Chaucer, so I understand it on the river side of Chaucer, so I understand where you're coming from. 2022, we did walk right in that area with the Army Corps of Engineers and the DEP. I think I mentioned this last meeting as well. The DEP signed on to doing a project or it's an appropriation. It's a complicated federal process, but we have started the ball rolling in that area on the Passaic. And I was also joined by mayors from New Providence and county officials, and I think some officials in Gillette and Summit as well, because it's a regional problem, right? If we dredge, if they even allow us to dredge these days, I think that's probably a dirty word, but even de-snag, if you do it on the Berkeley Heights side and you don't do it on the Long Hill side, for example, it doesn't really do anything. It has to be a regional approach. But we have reached out to them. We have asked for this project to be funded. I will follow up and try to find, if you want to leave your email address with Angela, I will follow up and I'll try to get you some information about where they are in the process.
Because, as far as cleanup, some of the logs that are back there and bulge, like, a homeowner can't do something about that. But I would like to see something done.
Just leave your email address with Angela and I'll try to get,
later.
yeah.
Hi, Michelle Matunis, 281 Riverbend Road. Just dittoing what everybody's been saying about the flooding. We're living where we live 35 years. We have had 4 feet of water deep in our backyard. Water's come up from the sewer. We've become an island, had to get our cars out. It is very stressful when the storms are coming. My disappointment is that I've reached out to the board back in 2021, 2023, 2024, only to be told, we're gonna look into this. Now we're hearing, I mean, I didn't realize that the other end of town is suffering the way we've been suffering for all these years. Saying we're gonna take care of it, we're gonna look into it is not good enough. These are our homes, you know, you're beautifying, like they said, other areas of town. It's wonderful. You're making Berkeley, it's a wonderful place. But people are living here. These are our homes. We've invested money. We've raised our families. You know, we want to get out of here. You know, why do I have to leave here? It's disheartening. It's upsetting. We walk around our neighborhood and the storm drains have grass growing in them. You know, whose responsibility is this? You know, you can't expect an elderly person that lives, you know, in a block of homes to get out there and, you know, clean all that up. I mean, I kick stuff, try to clean out, you know, the ones that are directly in front of my house, but is that our responsibility? The trees that are in the brook, like she said too, that the brook is getting wider and more shallow. The roots of the trees are exposed. It took 2.5 years. I begged you guys there were 3 trees that needed to come down. My fear was that the trees were gonna come down, they were gonna add extra blockage for the flow. We are a rushing river. When that water comes down, it is the rapids. It's scary. And, you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, we have to live like this. And we would expect you guys to be concerned enough about, you know, the citizens that live in areas like this to take care of it.
Can you just give me your name and your road again? I didn't hear the first part on it.
Michelle Matunis,
Michelle Martinez, okay.
281 River Bend.
So I run on Riverbend and I know what you're talking about, with the grass growing through the grate, and I will, I have a website connection right to our website where you can upload a picture and a little comment, and then the next day, literally, it's been taken care of. So if you see something, you know, say something, but let us know.
Yeah. And the logs that are just floating, I mean, when we have these rushing rivers, I mean, everybody's stuff winds up in our backyards. That stuff is holding up I mean, the leaves, of course, too, but these big obstacles are blocking the flow of the water. I mean, yeah, I get the dredging, I get the toxic and all that, you know, issue, but logs and furniture and those kind of things have to come out.
I have the Passaic right behind my house and I know exactly what you feel. We've dealt with I think the whole town's a very wet town.
So you should be supporting us.
I do support you. There's a lot of, you know, I found out that in government, there's a lot of red tape. I do support you, absolutely. I support you. I'm cleaning drains on my runs all the time. My sneakers are filthy from getting rid of the leaves that I can get rid of. And I adopted 10 drains in my own neighborhood to take care of things. I do support you. I absolutely do. And I hear your frustration.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate, and I would appreciate you all taking this very seriously, because this is an investment for us.
Oh, absolutely. I moved into my house 3 months later, my basement was flooded. I was like, what's going on? Like, I had no idea. So I knew the river was there. Our porch was pitched towards the house. The first thing we did, we repitched the porch. So I get it. I live it myself. You know, you want to see the river and the animals and all the beautiful things, but it can be very stressful. It's very stressful to live near any body of water. I hear you. And everybody up here understands, and we're doing the best we can. It just takes time. And I feel like I could cry right now. And
what is time? What is time? I feel like in 2021, I was promised that we were going to get help. It was going to get looked into. It's, 4 or 5 years later, and now we're hearing more areas are suffering with the same issue.
Too, because even to Kyle's point about, we can take our town, we can make it waterproof. I'll make it watertight. But the towns around.
Water's
If it backs up in there, it's gonna back up into us. Even though we fix whatever our problems are.
Right.
It goes to Watchung, it goes to Lone Hill, it goes to New Prague, it goes to Warren, okay? They don't fix their problems, our water, it's going to them because we're on a mountain. So if you take Snyder, you come down Snyder and you come down Plainfield, it's a mountain. So the water's gonna run. So if it's gonna run to them and it's gonna back up into us. So we can go to them We could say, hey, can you do this? Yeah, not really, we don't feel like it. Okay, but we can do what we can do. Okay, and believe me, and like Councilwoman Bogan, I feel your pain. I'm sitting in my basement right now. The walls are up 4 feet because I got the sanitary sewer in my basement because of this last storm. Okay? I mean, I didn't get water. I would have preferred rainwater. Okay? Really, I would have preferred that. Okay? I got the sanitary sewer. I had human waste in my basement. Believe me, I feel your pain. Okay? And believe me, I apologize to you because I didn't feel like reading that. But that's what we have to go through. Okay? And I sit on this body and I'm like, we have to do this tomorrow. No, we need to do this yesterday. Okay? But the problem is everything that we run up against. You run up against the DEP, you run up against the dredging, you run up against the Army Corps of Engineers, you run up against Long Hill and Summit and New Prov and Watchung and Warren. Okay? These are the towns you run up against them. And I'll give you a quick example. I had a tree fall down in a green, it's wetlands, Green Acres behind my house. It fell from there into my property. Berkeley Heights, we don't know what you're talking about. Called Union County, we have no idea what you're talking about. They say, call Watchung. They go, where do you even live? Okay, I called Somerset County. They're like, we don't even, what map are you looking at? Okay, finally Berkeley Heights came and took care of it because I asked them, and somebody come and take care of this. Okay, the tree fell from Watchung in Somerset County into Union County. So just that alone, okay, what you have to go through to get to that, okay? We feel your pain. It's not like, we live here too. We don't live in Scotch Plains and go, the people in Berkeley Heights, they can handle it. Don't worry about that. They'll be fine. No, we live here too. Okay? And believe me, I'm living in 2 floors right now. I'm living out of plastic containers. Okay? It's just, I feel your pain. I really do. I can't, and I'm not saying that because I want
No, I
the
hear you.
sympathy of it. I understand. I'm there. I'm on the front line with you. Believe me, it's not even.
And that shouldn't be happening for you either. This is a priority. Every community has priorities. We happen to be a wet one, so I think that should be at the top of our. Well, I'm sorry, did you say your name is Carol? Michelle, sorry. I missed the beginning of what you said. You're on Riverbend. So we are doing like a drainage project over there, installing something, it's our engineer, no, we're repairing and engineering things to go along the outfalls along Riverbend and Chaucer to try to prevent some of that water from coming in. I didn't know if you were aware of that. So yes, so that project, we're waiting approval on the design from the DOT right now. So we were actually able to do that partially with grant funding, that we had some residents, like your neighbors who had emailed us. We reached out to them and said, hey, can you write us letters of support for this project? I think we also went to Congress and tried to apply for some money for over there also. So their letters were helpful. So we are trying to address what we can over there. Like
That was what, 2023? I mean, it took 2 years and we're still waiting for
I
the
think it was,
approval.
yeah. I also responded to, there was that Union County hazardous mitigation. And I had sent pictures of a lot of the bridges that are so low. We're right by Camp River Bend, so the bridges over there, so that, that's the thing that,
That
that's a
helped.
problem too. The water has nowhere to go. Right, exactly. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Raise your hand.
Good evening, to Rooney Seth from 102 Lawrence Drive. I've lived in this town 26 years. It's the very first time I've actually made it out to a meeting. Never had any issues, but I don't want to repeat what everyone said. We've all had the same issues. I just want to make one comment. I understand there's red tapeism with DEP, county, everything. But at a small level, is it possible that the town can at least take permission from the owners? And I think most of us would give it, that if you need to come onto our property and do whatever needs to be done, please go ahead. I think that would be a very simple thing and at least one step towards getting something done, on an overall basis.
That has definitely been part of our discussion. So,
okay,
yes, I agree with you. There are small steps and little things that can be done.
All right.
Actually, here's an example. The DEP actually picked up it was a grill that got messed up around the corner from my house. They actually knocked on the door because the neighbor came to me and said, hey, there's a grill here.
Right.
So they went and picked it up. So We can do that.
DPW.
DPW.
Yeah, I think you said DEP. I was so confused. I was so confused right away. I'm like.
DEP on the brain, sorry.
Not the point.
DPW, I'm sorry. I got the DEP on the brain right now, I'm
As
sorry.
long as somebody does it, I don't care what the initials and.
Listen, if there's something out there, something you see that doesn't belong to you now, I know I lost a garbage can in somewhere probably in North Plainfield right now.
Me too.
Okay, it's always probably going, how did this wind up on my front lawn? But if you see something there and it looks like it doesn't belong, obviously, like a quill doesn't belong.
Yeah,
there,
we just go into the creek and fish it out and.
If you wanna do that,
Yeah, we do, but there are things that we cannot. And then, like somebody mentioned, the roots are being eroded of the trees, and those trees are gonna fall, and they are going to then stop the flow even more, and they're gonna cause bigger problems. So,
You're right, I have a storm runoff next to my house, I can't say enough that I've cleaned it out.
right,
Okay, my neighbor must love me because I'm out there all the time, I'm just getting the roots out, getting whatever's in the way, but the trees are exposed, the water's running through. Yeah, it's shallow, it's gonna, something else is gonna happen, whatever, but I'm doing my best to keep it going, I got the Greenbrook on the other side, which is deep enough. I think, I don't know, but anyway, it's running, but there's things we can do as homeowners, is not,
and we're all doing that, but I think it's just that it's getting a lot worse, and I am not sure how we got to this point. We have. And I certainly don't want it getting worse.
Thank you.
Thank you. When they dredged, because the roots are eroding. So, but else they can't dredge, so how, you can't really stop
That's
the flow from eroding over the roots, so what do you do?
You have to get an Army Corps, they have to do some other solution.
Richard's not here.
Don't say that.
I know.
Yeah.
Ed Delia, 294 Garfield Street, Berkeley Heights. Try and make this simple, but first of all, the streams, you could easily remove all the trees and branches in the streams. When I was on the council, I addressed this and they did it for a few years. This started around 2000, probably 11 to 12. And they did a lot. I assume they stopped now and nobody does it. But removing the branches is definitely legal. The dredging is a whole different animal. Probably the only real problem places that need dredging are by Saltbrook in New Providence. I don't know if anyone's ever addressed that. I haven't been back there in a couple of years, but that's the biggest problem that's affecting Berkeley Heights, just below Saltbrook, but on the Passaic River. If anyone ever wants to go down there, I will take you there and show you the problems. I offered for the last 15 years and nobody's ever taken me up on it. But that's a fixable problem. The streams are a fixable problem, not the easiest. I know it's a lot of work, but it's doable, and they did do some. Another huge problem, which is fixable, well, I shouldn't say easily fixable, is where the sewer pipe crosses the stream by Lawrence Drive. I don't know if anyone's been back there. I know I saw pictures from that on the internet recently. Somebody had a picture of it. The pile of debris there is what's causing most of the problems, which are messing up Lawrence Drive, Robbins Avenue area. Not only is it blocking the stream, but it's super dangerous. And I addressed this 15 years ago. The stream, let's say it was 10 feet wide where the pipe crossed the stream. Now it is 30, 40 feet wide. It needs to be fixed before the pipe gets broke. Eventually, the stream keeps getting bigger and bigger and the debris piles up and it will knock that pipe out someday. It's a matter of time, but it's easy to take the debris out, but fixing where the water washed all the land away by the pipe is another problem. The other issue is all the big trees in the river. I had tried addressing that for years. I know that's a state problem because the state owns the river. They should do it. I'm sure you guys have tried. I could see the look on your face. You've been trying. I tried. It's like pulling teeth, but the state owns it. The state should pay for cleaning it. I don't want to be critical, but I'm going to have to be. Putting 2 boat launches in a park is kind of meaningless when the river
is so full of trees, you can't go more than a half a mile in any direction. I've tried it. I used to go on the river with the canoe for years, but all those trees are contributing to the problem of all the flooding. And again, anybody that ever wants to know more about it, I'm an open book. I've offered for years. I don't want to be cocky, but I know the river better than most anybody in this town and know the problems and know how to fix the problem. Well, I know how to fix the problems, how to get government to fix the problems is the problem. And I know you all understand that and know it and have dealt with it, but I could assist anyone if they want to know the problems or at least know what they're talking about if, when they do want to try to address it. I'm sure you all have information for me, but I would help if anyone wants it. But clearing the trees out of the streams is a huge part, but if somebody can address the problem at the end of the stream by the soccer fields, that's a huge, huge problem. And that's probably where most of the flooding that messed up Springfield Ave and Lawrence Drive area this time. It's most likely from there, even though I haven't walked that stream in years. I did clear some of this stuff out a few years ago with the Environmental Commission and also L'Oreal. There was some employees from there that helped. But if anyone ever wants help, just let me know. I'll give my input and kind of keep you updated on stuff because I still go down the river a lot and I know where a lot of the problems are. Thank you.
Mr. Delia, I just have a quick question. You mentioned that years ago, the town was cleaning up the streams?
Yeah,
DPW?
When I first got on the council, I started walking the streams and made a report.
Right.
And it got the ball rolling. And I know a guy named Jorge was actually running the DPW, not running the DPW, he was in charge of all the guys.
Mhm.
I forget who was on top of him at that time. I think Robert, God, I can't
But it
remember.
was DPW that was taking out the trees
The
and the branches?
DPW was, they bought a portable winch and they were using a portable winch and chainsaws. And they would have crews that would go around to all the streams and they were addressing it and then would come and report to the council meetings every few weeks to tell us what sections they did, where they did it, what went on, but it is, and I shouldn't say it's easy addressable
It's not that
problem.
easy, right? I mean, the portable winch, I mean, clearly, and then you're talking chainsaws. We're talking monster trees here. We're talking old growth trees,
No.
not just branches.
I did it by myself. I used to go down and I cleared several streams, couple in the Passaic River itself. Big stuff. I mean,
Right, and there's, half of them are submerged. I would imagine that they're actually in the water. So I can only imagine how difficult it is. I mean, I don't even know where you would put the winch.
well, the portable winches for the brooks, they're all small and most of the brooks in this town aren't owned by the state. It has to be navigable waters for the state to own it, I believe. And most of the small streams aren't navigable. So they're our responsibility. But the portable winch, I never actually saw it, but I know that they used it. They should still have it.
So this is all just for, because you're right, and we touched upon this during the last meeting. This was before some legal issues arose about the public employees going onto private property to do work. So as we all know, like years ago, there was less and everything, less liability issues and things like that for pretty much everything. Unfortunately, the world has changed, it's my understanding, and I was not here when you were, obviously, Ed. As that evolved, we ceased going onto private property to do that work. But that's one of the questions that we're going to get to in depth when we meet with our professionals this week. But that's why when people say you used to do that, that's why, whether we were supposed to or not, but legal questions have arisen since then about us going on a private property.
And I could easily see that and understand it. And again, times are much different now than even 15 years ago. But some of the streams, like the stream that goes from Passaic River to Lawrence Drive, that stretch is all township owned. So all of that can be cleaned. There's several streams that are still on township property
Portions,
and,
portions.
and they could be addressed.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about this.
I know there's one at the end of, Station Street, which is also at the end of Garfield Street, Grant Street. That one is a mess, even though that one doesn't really affect anything, but it's never been cleaned. And I see how big of a problem that is. It does help, it hurts erosion and all that. But there are several streams that are addressable, which not too bad. And again, I know that it's hard it's hard work. I physically have done it myself, but we do have some equipment that can do it. I know we have the little backhoe. I think they still have it. Big backhoe is probably a little harder to get around, but I think we have a Bobcat now. Stuff like that works really good on clearing this stuff. But if somebody could mostly look at the stream at the very end where the sewer pipe is,
I made a note of that, Ed.
because that one is a huge, huge problem. And again, anything else, if anyone ever wants to ask, I'm more than happy to try and help.
Thank you, Ed.
Appreciate it.
See you.
Thank you.
Linda, we're just Sally 33 Dell Lane. He's right about that. Back in the day, I've been here 40 years, Vito Mondelli was head of the DPW, and that was cutting and clearing was part of his job. I remember talking to him about it. And on River Bend goes around, I'm on Dell Lane that cuts the two sides. There are two public accesses that have not been cleared since he retired. And he told me they used to go down there and clear that so that people can go and put in canoes or go fishing or whatever. Now he's been retired, I don't know, 20-something years, so it's all overgrown. But Ed is right, there are places where, and River Bend, where we are, the river bends, but then there's a creek that bends from Chaucer, like she was saying, and that backs up. So there have been pictures of our neighborhood in the Star Ledger. The DPW or the fire department, somebody puts barricades up whenever it rains. So they know, I mean, there should be a log of all of these damages where streets flood. So it should be documented. It shouldn't be rocket science. We should have a record of all these things. But it is accessible. It is a public access. There's two right on Riverboat Road, not too far apart, where that should be cleared. It could be public accessed and they could get into the riverbanks and clear. Because I remember Vito saying they used to do that. I mean, granted, rules might have changed, but I'm saying the pathways are there. They're just overgrown.
Thank you, Linda. No, we didn't.
Okay, all right. I had a question, but before the question, first of all, Ed should be on that task force.
Right? I was thinking the same thing. Institutional knowledge.
Exactly, exactly. And so just going back to our earlier point I was trying to make on threat assessments, and there is some low hanging fruit, like we can't boil the ocean. Some of the things that you guys are talking about and concerned about are big ticket items that make the budget balloon and make you guys really nervous. But what's the low hanging fruit? The low hanging fruit, some of these trees that may be accessible, that we can take care of. The other thing is the dredging is an enormous painstaking process. But what contributes to that, and one of our neighbors was mentioning that, is some of the soil erosion. So how are we thinking about prioritizing what to address? Dredging should be one of the last stages. It feels like priority should be reinforcing these banks to stop the erosion furthering the shallowing of our creek. So can we have a plan in place that we're going to take the things that are easy, the low hanging fruit, we're going to have a plan to address that, the most urgent and maybe easier, maybe how do we reinforce some of these bank areas to stop further encroachment in that while we figure out the red tape on the big thing with dredging. Like I said, getting municipalities and townships to agree is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So we may dredge, and like you said, another town does it. That's a long-term solution. Some of the short-term solutions could be more applicable and will help. Even if we get 25 to 40% improvement, I think everyone would be happy with that, better than zero or negative moving forward. So that's it.
Only thing I'll mention, because I just want to be completely honest, and this is the example I gave when I was the day after the storm, I was with the county looking at Plainfield Avenue, the portion that fell in with the DOT. And the DOT was telling us how they have another project, 'cause they were talking about how they're gonna stabilize Plainfield Avenue. And the DEP was requiring on a finished project in another county, them to pull up all the riprap and put trees in. Now, you and I both know, you're an engineer, you're a chemist. That riprap is a lot better than planting trees. So I know sometimes you say, I just wanna, it sounds simple, it seems easy, we can fund this little project and make it better, but sometimes even when you don't expect it, there's red tape. So I'm hesitant when we talk about shoring up banks that we can just, do that easily. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Let's hope I'm wrong.
Well, or maybe the 1 or 2 banks as opposed to the 15, that if we just improve those, it would have a 35% improvement on everything else. So like I said before, what's the most vulnerable areas? The one that we could shore up that would kind of slow down the rate. Because listen, these storms and the force of nature against them running through are going to do nothing but scour and erode more. And that's what we can't predict. That's what we can't control. And that's why these roots are being exposed. And it's going to become dangerous even for some of the citizens here, where a tree could fall on them, right? That's one of my apprehensions about going in there fully when I see roots exposed. I don't want to be there in a tree topple on top of me. I'm not trained in that area. I wish I was an engineer. I'm a chemist. But I'm not trained to do that. And even though my heart is in the right place, like most of these people, we are ill-equipped to do that. But we will support the hell out of you guys physically, mentally, financially to help do this because we love this town. So we're with you with this. We just want to know how to partner. And if we can take some of these suggestions, they're not just concerns, but take some of these suggestions and kind of come back with, hey, here's a plan of action. We don't expect you to have the answer. The red tape is the red tape. But here's how we will move forward with you. We're going to take one weekend and we're going to go out with you guys and we're going to start to document. We're going to start to video document and see if there's a plan, short-term plan that could do some things in the short term while we figure out the red tape in the long term.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
I guess I'll be the last. Right, Javier Morales, 125 Lawrence Drive. Listen, I can't repeat so much. Everyone's talked their piece. This is honestly is the public outcry of home taxpayers. And it is a safety concern. You want public safety. And listen, an emergency needs to happen on your behalf and the council here. I don't know how you go about it. I really don't know. But this is an emergency. Eventually I'm gonna have no property left. How's not gonna have no property? Nobody. It's gonna all go away. Then what? I'm happy you guys are trying and girls trying to do something proactive, but I think this is front and center and it should be in priority. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Javier. Appreciate it. Okay. He's closing it up.
Okay, seeing no one else, I move to.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Come on.
Okay, Steve. Look, I'm not the end. Steve Carl's 35 Sycamore. Well, I understand the problems they're talking about. I mean, I don't have their problems. I'm still nervous when it's going to rain, so I understand. I have 2 things on resolution 265 regarding emergency appropriation, the 3rd whereas clause, and what looks like a second sentence has to talk about 3% of operational budget and some 260 plus thousand.
265?
Is that part, is that supposedly a second sentence?
Steve, we only.
It's at the beginning because the numbers were already assigned and it was not added to the consent. It was added today. So that's why the number is out of order. Sorry. So it's actually.
So is that
at the
back
beginning?
of the
It's at
packet?
the very beginning of the resolutions.
Third whereas, right?
Oh, got it.
It's because of the way the numbering and the way this came out
Oh,
today. And then we didn't want to put it on consent so it can be talked.
Okay. Okay.
So that was why.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't understand, so that everything that's there is supposed to be there, right? And that whereas clause is correct.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
good, all right. What does it mean?
I'm gonna let you say.
It's a state, state rules on emergency appropriations, you can't be over if you go over 3% of the total operating expenditures of the budget, it has to go for special a higher level of approval from the state. So therefore, part of the resolution, you state that we're under that amount, and since it was an emergency declared by the governor, this should be approved automatically by the state. So it's just kind of like, it's housekeeping to make sure we're all in line of what the state.
It's
rules are.
abundance of caution.
Correct.
Yeah, no, but it's like I said, I looked at it and it was like it began a sentence after a period. It wasn't, did it even belong there? Because,
Oh, you're right, period doesn't belong there.
and,
I'll give you that.
and,
Good. Yours is more of a grammatical
well,
question.
it started that way, but then I didn't, the way it read, I didn't understand what it was trying to say. So therefore, once I said it's supposed to be there, got it.
It's just.
I'm with you now, like saying.
Yeah. And then on a different subject, I did notice that, when the agenda didn't have, Zoom information, and I guess I can understand with Margaret joining, you needed the channel for her to join the meeting, is notwithstanding our Zoom bombing issues we've had when we've tried to actually have a running meeting, is it planning to come back for those who want to?
Looking at YouTube at this point, the way the Board of Education does it, but we don't have a definitive answer at this plan, but that's where we're leaning.
Hoping for the next meeting, yeah. I mean, this is not ideal, but yes, the storm has sort of taken
And, no, but that, thank you,
We
with,
don't want to subject ourselves to that ever.
I understand.
for anybody else.
Yeah, I was, two things, well, that's great. YouTube just doing a live stream
Right,
and, you know,
that's,
Yes.
and that's probably the most universal because everybody will have it.
that's what we're thinking, yeah.
But the other thing I was gonna bring up was, if you don't need to use Zoom like for remote council members, you can always use it in webinar mode, which allows you to, basically you're firewalling your audience.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm looking at.
That's the other thing you can do.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Joe, you're killing me. I'm hungry.
Why down to 923 Mountain Avenue? My question real quick is,
Yeah,
when I went online, I saw the agenda.
yep.
Then when I came here, the agenda was quite big.
When you went online, the agenda is the agenda
But the-
packet as a whole is always on the
That was
website.
online?
It's always on there. Now, I can tell you, since I've ever been posting for years, and it's always the full packet. Some
Okay.
towns do, some don't. We always have the full packet.
Yeah,
Now,
'cause
keep in mind, when things change, right, a reso changes, if there is an amendment to the agenda, the amended agenda packet is always there when it's there. If a single resolution changes, which does happen, in this case, something changed, we had an agenda change, those were also there. If one resolution might change before a meeting, it's not an agenda change, and that may just get swapped out. Depending on when it happens early, it gets updated. If it happens right before, it just gets distributed and we have put copies out.
I got you. So I'm gonna go back home and double check, but my question was that I read about 251, about the resolution authorizing the redemption of the tax sale certificate to Realty Solutions JV LLC. So I didn't know what the heck was going on, and then I came here and I read this.
It's a relatively, I don't want to say standard.
No, I understand. I
It's
read that.
something, yeah, that happens from the tax collector.
Yes.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Ain't nobody else?
See no one else, I move to close this. This is here.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Illis.
Yes.
Mr. Machado.
Yes,
And Mrs. Pogue.
Yes.
I move resolution 2025-265, resolution authorizing an emergency appropriation of the 2025 municipal budget.
Second that?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo.
Yes.
Mr. Foster.
Yes.
Mrs. Illis.
Yes.
Mr. Machado.
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue.
Yes. I move to adopt the consent agenda consisting of resolutions 2025-240 through 2025-264, excluding number 2025-243. These resolutions will be approved by one motion.
Second that?
Any discussion?
One quick question.
Sure.
Last, 245, the watershed.
Yes,
What is that for?
that's part of our MS4 DEP stormwater.
That's right, that's
permit.
what I'm saying,
That's one of the
okay.
things we have to do. Yep.
All right, I just want, I wasn't sure if that was gonna be part of the permit or something for one of the studies for the.
Yep.
My mistake,
No, it's okay.
thank you.
Good question.
Okay.
Where, do I have a second?
Second,
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
roll call?
Mr. Kudo,
indubitably.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mrs. Ellis,
Yes.
Ms. Machado,
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue.
Yes.
Okay, Township Council reports, Manny?
All right, I'll go, two things. One, I just want for the Downtown Beautification Committee, 9 years in running, Berkeley has Restaurant Month. Hopefully everyone shows up. It's gonna be in September. Takes the entire month, after 9 years, hopefully everyone understands where to go, which is experiencebh.com. We have new people coming in, new restaurants, new specials, so you wanna keep track of that. Also, I just wanna remind everyone that there's big changes in New Jersey anchor tax rebate starting this week. As of, this week, the New Jersey Division of Taxation will begin sending out confirmation letters to residents that meet the requirements for the 2025 Affordable New Jersey Communities for Homeowners and Renters. That's the anchor program. These notifications will go out to anyone under the age of 65 who is not collecting Social Security benefit. While the state will auto file for most eligible residents, you are also able to file your own application beginning this month by visiting Anchor Program website. Benefits under Anchor are also available to senior citizens that was to receive Social Security benefits. This year, a new form allows these groups to apply to multiple tax relief programs at once. The new PAS/1 application allows these groups to apply for Anchor. Senior freeze in the upcoming Stay in New Jersey program with one form. I believe the form is upstairs also in tax department. First payments will begin going out September 15th on a rolling basis, usually within 90 days of filing. Benefit amounts available are a maximum of $1,750 for senior homeowners and $700 for senior renters, depending on income. By the way, the resident income limit, $250,000 if filing, if your gross New Jersey income was not that. So that's income. They don't look at your savings. So please go online to the Anchor website on State of New Jersey or stop at the tax office. And that's it for me.
Don?
Good. Tomorrow, August 20th, is a National Radio Day. Every year, it's honored on this day, to the world's greatest invention. And we all have one, we've all listened to it. Radio was invented through teamwork over many years, not by one person, but scientists like Volta, Faraday discovered electricity, magnetism basics, Maxwell predicted radio waves, and Hertz proved they existed in the 1880s. Tesla, Bose, and Popov experimented with wireless signals, but Marconi made the radio practical, sending signals across the Atlantic in 1901. Their combined work created the radio we know today. The reason I bring it up is because we here are, as a team, we all work together, we're all trying to get the best out of everything. August 21st is Senior Citizens Day. It's to commemorate the elderly and appreciate them for being the pillars of our community. We hope to seek wisdom and guidance from older people and learn valuable lessons from their life experiences. Senior citizens are known for their generosity and willingness to assist in times of need. And I also want to mention that the senior picnic was down at Columbia Park, and it was a really good day. Unfortunately, I didn't make it, but from what I understand, it was a really great day. Also want to mention August 26th is Women's Equality Day in the United States. It's a day to commemorate the 19th Amendment, the Constitution, which in 1920 gave women the right to vote. And if I can say this, and I don't want to be come a long way, baby. Yeah, right. I heard that online. I was like, yeah, I got the old guy. The Littell, the Historic Preservation Committee took a day off, but the festival is going to be October 18th from 12 to 4th at the Littell Lord House, and the grounds around it. The rain date is October 19th. They're both 12 to 4, so hopefully no rain. I've already put in my order for that. I also want to mention our first flag raising of the season is going to be for Hispanic Heritage Month, which is, we're going to raise the flag on September 16th, which is the second meeting of the month of September. And it's going to be at 6 p.m. So we're going to raise the flag prior to the council meeting. Come on out, have some music and some laughs and some history.
What time is it going to be? At 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Because our council meeting is at 6:30. That's all I have. Thank you very
Excellent.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Margaret.
No report from me this week.
Thank you, Margaret. Bill?
Well, in consideration of time, I'll just defer my reports to the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Susan?
I'm gonna keep it short as well. I'm working on 2 different grants. They're both due in the next 3 weeks, and school starts on September 2nd, the night of our council meeting. So, one is for Littell Lord, and the other one is through Mayor's Wellness for the Veterans Yoga Project.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Okay, thank you. Administration reports, this is all listed on the website, so I'm not gonna go into detail in light of how late it is, but the Sherman Avenue revitalization construction project is set to begin in August, so I think eminently. Speaking of drainage, there's gonna be additional drainage added to that project as well. Deer Path Lane road improvements, the contractor is coming back in a few weeks to finish the retainage, and then they will mill and pave that area by Mountain Avenue. Check out our website for the 2025 road paving list. It is listed there. We might be a little delayed in light of what we're doing with the emergent road.
Updated yesterday.
Okay. Old Farm Orchard, Old Farm drainage work is substantially complete, and we're doing some curb work, but there's a whole list of things that are going on there, so check out the website. Snyder Avenue sidewalk project is going out, well, it went out to bid. We're waiting for DOT approval on that one. Walmore and Bristol Drainage Road Construction Project. The pre-construction meeting was held, and we're hoping that that starts any day now, like the 18th, today's the 19th. West Side Drainage Project, we just received feedback from the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank that our phase 1 application in June, and our team is currently doing the permit work required for that project. If you remember, that's a 10-year, $25 million mitigation project. The Passaic River Outfalls Project along Riverbend Road, our engineering team had a pre-application meeting about 3 weeks ago and is currently revising plans to submit to the DEP. So this is the area that we discussed tonight. Springfield Avenue Sidewalk Project, the survey work is complete and their mapping is underway, and the project design is starting soon. So we have a lot of projects going on that do include drainage and some other things. So that concludes my report. Liza?
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, post July 14th, we've been working on storm assessments every day, trying to get contractor quotes, work schedules, FEMA submissions. We got word today that FEMA actually granted us a time extension through September 13th to submit, so our OEM coordinator is taking care of that. You know, we apologize for the last minute agenda changes and additions. We normally do not like doing that, but this has been such a moving target like every day. And if we don't get certain things on today's agenda, the money isn't authorized, the permissions aren't given, and then work to actually fix everything just gets delayed. So that's why. Also, we did, per what I just mentioned and the mayor mentioned, we put work details of the storm-related infrastructure repairs on our website yesterday, berkeleyheights.gov, streets, bridges, culverts, catch basins. We'll update that post with repair details and contractor schedules as we get it. Just to tie in affordable housing to stormwater, we have tried to use the stormwater runoff and flooding concern as a reason why we cannot continue to build more in this town, and the state does not care. We have said we will send all the videos residents have sent us, and the state does not care. It's maddening. It's like banging your head against the wall. Also, we should have more information on this after the internal meeting this week with our professionals and our legal team and our staff that the mayor referenced about next steps in doing our thorough review of our infrastructure, but we are also exploring what we may be eligible for in terms of FEMA mitigation money. It's concerning because the administration in Washington recently defunded the big bipartisan infrastructure law, which funded a lot of mitigation programs. But we are going to see if we can apply for any mitigation measures through FEMA. Whether or not that'll be successful is another issue, but we're going to try to apply for everything we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Liza. All right, who's doing the reports?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Kudo?
Yes.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mrs. Illis?
Yes.
Mr. Machado?
Yes.
Mrs. Pogue, sorry.
Yes. And there is no executive session, so may I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
You're up, right? There you go. Just.
Yes.